Welcome once again to Lehto's Law. Here's Steve Lehto.
Every now and then someone will say, Steve, you're always picking on these different groups of people. Do you ever pick on your own kind? I say, yeah, I do videos about bad lawyers once in a while, and I am a lawyer. But I'll cover anything. And so here's one where I get to point out a tow truck company that got in trouble. And for those of you who follow my show regularly, know that I used to drive a tow truck years ago. And so I think it's been a while since we talked about tow truck drivers, although they have been in the news before, but this one's fascinating. Jay sent me this from San Francisco, and the San Francisco Standard ran the story written by Stephanie Baer. Tow truck owner wrecked cars for insurance cash, according to the feds, as they have charged now this company with a whole bunch of stuff. The owner of the tow truck company is facing new charges after authorities say he intentionally wrecked cars to cash in on insurance money. Now, in a federal grand jury indictment that was returned just about a week and a half ago, several people were charged with conspiracy, mail fraud, wire fraud, and it was all in connection with schemes to defraud auto insurance companies. That's according to the U.S. Department of Justice. And a grand jury means that they actually did convene a grand jury, and the grand jury heard evidence and then returned the indictment saying, we believe that crimes were committed, and we believe they're committed by these people. So two of the people were arrested this month and charged with money laundering and fraud after federal prosecutors said they purchased a wrecked car and then cashed a $34,000 insurance check for it after falsely claiming they were in an accident. The couple own and operate several towing companies in San Francisco. The new indictment alleges that one of the people loaded a vehicle carrier with 4 cars and in August 2019 purposely drove them off the road and did that for an insurance payout. After he reported the supposed accident to his insurance company, they all made false or misleading statements to a representative of the company, according to the indictment. The insurance company denied that claim as fraudulent, but paid one of his towing companies $5,200 for recovering, towing, and storing the vehicles involved. So even though they said this is a fake accident, they still paid off the company to move these cars around that were involved in the fake accident. Now, as part of another scheme, 3 of the people are accused of submitting a fraudulent insurance claim on a wrecked car that one of them purchased in May 2019. The indictment alleges that the car was not drivable when he bought it. And so the other person here obtained an insurance policy for the vehicle before one of them, posing as the other, falsely reported to the insurance company that he'd been in a single car accident. So he is alleged to have falsely documented that his company towed the car after the fake accident, and the insurance company approved the claim and sent the man a check for $47,000, according to the indictment. So 2 of these people were arrested just a couple days ago and released on $50,000 bonds after appearing in court. One of them is due in court on September 9th for an initial appearance and arraignment. The other one's scheduled to appear in court today for an arraignment in both cases. So you might recall that these people made the news when there's an investigation into the company back in April after a viral video appeared to show one of the trucks owned by this company attempting to tow away a car from downtown San Francisco that had people in it. And you know what's funny is they taught me to drive a tow truck when I was 18 years old. And I don't recall them ever having to tell me, by the way, Steve, get the people out of the car before you tow it. I think that's actually one of those things that they just assume that you'll figure out. But in February, the city attorney suspended the contracts with all of these companies owned by these people, accusing them of illegally towing cars from private lots and pressuring owners to pay in cash as opposed to other methods that'd be easier to trace. I'm guessing that's what they're getting at there. And so, you know, as you can imagine, a tow truck driver shows up, he's going to tow your vehicle, or he has towed your vehicle, and he goes, yeah, it's going to be, you know, whatever, it's going to be a couple $100. And you pull out a credit card, he's like, oh, no, I want cash. Now, the thing is that even when I was towing vehicles, and just so you know, 1980, we had a credit card imprinter in the truck. Now, that's, of course, very, very old and analog and ka-chunk, you know, when you run the credit card through. But we could take credit cards. And I remember being out pulling someone out of a ditch at 2 o'clock in the morning. And a police officer calls it in. They call my house, wake me up. I go get the truck. I come over there. And there's someone standing by the ditch, by the car in the ditch. There's a cop car there, just kind of watching and trying to help, and also making sure people don't run off into the ditch. And I go, what do you want me to do? And the cop would go, just pull them out of the ditch. And I'm like, okay. And quite often when I got called by the police paid our bill. But I've had it before where a police officer said, pull the car to the ditch, but this is on them because they asked me to just simply get a tow truck. And so I'd walk over and say, it's going to cost you how much to get your vehicle out. And back then, it was literally like 30 or 40 bucks. So I held up 3 fingers. That's a sign for $30 in my way of speaking. And yank the thing out. They give me a credit card or cash. And ka-chunk, I'd write them up a receipt, and I'd go home, go back to sleep, and next morning go, wait, did I pull a car to a ditch at 2 o'clock in the morning last night? And I actually had one person get upset with me when I said, I've got to charge you for this. And I'm looking at them going, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Not a single gas station is open for miles that has a wrecker. So if you want to, you could sit here till probably 6 or 7 in the morning and start making phone calls, except this is before cell phones were a thing. So you have to go walk to a payphone, I guess, and start making phone calls in about 4 hours and get someone out here who's going to charge you $30 or more. So what? And I'm not sure the person thought like maybe this was a service that the local police supplied. Like you put your car in a ditch and, the cops will help me get my car out and they won't charge me for that. No, you're going to get charged, okay? And in that case, interestingly enough, the person was not drunk. Now, why they wound up in a ditch, I don't know. But I remember speaking to somebody who's perfectly coherent. They may have fallen asleep. They may have been driving along and fallen asleep, and it wasn't that bad. It wasn't massive off-road recovery using gigantic equipment. It's literally me just walking over, putting the hook around something, and yanking them out. Oh yeah, good times, good times. But here we have the tow truck owner is accused of getting wrecked cars that are already wrecked, and then insuring them as if they're not wrecked, and then reporting accidents to the insurance company and saying, hey, my car has now been wrecked. I need coverage on this. And sadly, this is the kind of scam that somebody thinks about and goes, wow, what a great idea. But of course, it is insurance fraud. And if you get caught, it's a problem because you're using the phones and probably the internet and possibly the mails to run this scheme. And in doing that, you can get busted for mail fraud, wire fraud, and if you're doing it with somebody else, conspiracy to commit those things. So that's not good. And again, we've discussed this before. This is happening in federal court. It's the feds going after somebody. And state courts can be all over the board in terms of they go lenient on you, they throw the book at you, or you go to prison in a state system, and 5 years really only means 2.5 years with good behavior. Whereas in the federal system, truth in sentencing, you're going to serve the bulk of your sentence. And so obviously there hasn't even been a trial on this yet. So for all we know, they got the wrong people, wrong place, wrong time. It had nothing to do with them. It never happened. All these things are possible. We'll see. But as of right now, the tow truck owner is accused of wrecking cars for insurance cash, according to the feds. And Stephanie Bear wrote that for the San Francisco Standard. Jay sent it to me. Thanks a lot. Questions or comments, put them below. Otherwise, talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Lehto's Law. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say will be misquoted and then used against you.